Hey, June is National Pollinators Month. So what the heck is a pollinator?
Well, let me tell you, Mr. Len.
I'm ready.
The National Park Service says that a pollinator is anything that helps carry pollen from the male part of the flower, which is called a stamen, to the female part of the same or another flower, which is called a stigma. The movement of pollen must occur for the plant to become fertilized and produce fruits, seeds, and young plants. Some plants are self-pollinating, while others may be fertilized by pollen carried by wind or water. Still, other flowers are pollinated by insects and animals, such as bees, wasps, moths, butterflies, birds, flies, and small mammals, including bats.
That's
Wow,
right.
bats.
At night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the show started, we were talking about how, the native people that are out there,
Right.
that are, a little different, have also a counterpart, or they may be the same people that have, invasive species issues where they, Well, now we're specifically talking about butterfly bush. Butterfly bush was considered an invasive species. So what's happening is that some of the varieties of plants that we've known and loved that are getting a bad reputation are becoming sterile.
Oh.
So as far as like the pollen and things that would create seeds that would make them invasive, that's going away. So I'm wondering how that affects pollinators.
Right.
That's where, like, I like nativars. Give me a nativar, which is a native plant that is a better looking, better behaving, better performing
Productive,
plant. I'll take that. But where some of the varieties that are basically sterile may not be the best thing for your pollinators.
That's right.
But then there are some that are. So, it's something that we are educated on, and it's something to ask, but still, pollinators, whether it's a butterfly, a bee, a wasp, a bat, are important because everything that we eat, just like, we said seed, but that could be tomato. That could be an eggplant. That could be any of the vegetation, corn. It could be soybeans, all of these things that if they're not pollinated, we don't get the fruit or the vegetable or the harvest of the crop. And that's why pollinators are so important. And that, I'll tell you, there are some statistics for pollinators. Let's see, that's 1,200 food crops and 180,000 different types of plants, which help stabilize our soil, clean our air, supply oxygen, and support wildlife. All require pollinators. So, you want a healthy economy? I do.
Yeah.
Pollination by honeybees contributed over to 19 billion of crop production. Wow. And this is going way back, so it's more than this. So 2010. Other insect pollinators contributed 10 billion. So you're talking about $30 billion in food crop production.
Just by the
honeybees. Just by pollinators.
Right.
Your garden would be a better garden if you had more attracted pollinators, because they would be pollinating all of the flowers on your vegetables or your any of your other plants that you want to produce. And it's a vegetable. Is a tomato a vegetable? It's supposed to be a fruit.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in that argument. If you guys want to take up an argument, go ahead. Bring it on. Horticultural sparring. I'm ready.
Right.
But the key is creating an available plant so that you can make up for some of those plants that have been deforested or plants that aren't available like they used to be. So really important.
Yeah, can you imagine if we didn't have these pollinators?
Yeah, we'd be dead.
I know.
We'd be dead. Or,
Right.
I mean, it would not, we'd be dead.
Yeah. Well, like you said here, it says 1 out of every 3 bites of food you eat exists because of pollinators.
That's right. That's right. And one thing that most people don't realize is that I told this story before about where a truck turned over in California, and that it was hives that were getting brought to the almond fields that they actually move hives around. And that happens in this area, that happens out west and everything else, where they actually take the honeybees and bring them to the crops to pollinate. So, it's kind of like, migrant insects. They go and they take care of the crop and
Right.
pollinate it so that the production is higher. Yeah. So,
I like
very
that.
important.
Yeah, very important. Ooh, goodness.
Honeybees, unfortunately, have had some issues where there's hive collapse. We're going to go into that in a little bit broader detail later. When we say and talk about insecticides and read the label, we used to have T-shirts that said B-E-E, responsible. Yeah. And it was being responsible about how you applied insecticides and how you took care of your home and yard. And that some people are like, we talk about imidacloprid, which is an insecticide that we love because it's a drench and it doesn't go on the plant. And that way you can't hit the bee and kill the bee. Yeah. We talked about a study that was done on clover and where it did not transfer, the insecticide did not impact the pollen into the where it affected the bees. But I also have a picture where it's a guy spraying imidacloprid, and this is like a commercial application, and he's shooting it into the tops of the trees, and it doesn't get applied that way. And that be responsible. Be responsible.
Yeah. You got to know what the ingredient, not only the ingredients, but what directions,
Yeah. What the directions say. And my suggestion is that have a section which is devoted to pollinators and just let it get ugly.
Oh, yeah.